Okay. Oh, hey Siri, pause. Greetings.
There we are.
There we
I got a couple of other things, but there's a Google password protection on it, or I've got to figure out how to get I don't know. I think it's just typing my password and then waiting for them to send me a verification code.
Oh boy.
But I just
Well, you don't have to uh look at the
maybe you can show me
documents
on your screen what is there.
exactly. And then we can worry about whether you even need access or
Yeah.
want access
Okay.
later on.
Well, I mean, uh, I don't know what about Google, but I'm apparently not friendly with them or something. But I can't open a lot of stuff that I mean, you got to go through hoops to get into stuff. Sometimes people send me. Yeah, how are you doing, man? Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm really excited about a lot, and this is one of those things.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a little kerfuffle with the girlfriend, but I think I figured out how to approach that too. I'm going to use
Well,
I'm going to use AI to help with that.
oh, come on.
No, seriously, English is a second language. She's basically Chinese.
All
So,
right. Well, now,
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a little letter and have it translated into Chinese and send it to her.
well, which dialect of Chinese?
She speaks, I think it's Mandarin. It's in the past we've just used, I forget what the one that we don't use is, but like mainland China, she can handle that, I guess. I can send the English too, but I want it to be clear because these things they go sideways so easily when people have a lack of trust and security. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now, what is this lady's name?
Her name is Kathleen.
Kathleen. Okay. Uh,
We've been
oh,
dating for a few months and she's a-okay. She's a good person, but sometimes she reads my actions as though there's some hidden agenda or I'm going to run out and start seeing other women on the side or something. Insecurities, and she hasn't really done the basic personal growth work that would make this so much easier.
uh-huh.
Like if I told her, gee, just assume the best and then talk to me if you're concerned about other meanings that may be going on. But it's subtle. I do the same thing. I react as though I'm being attacked when I'm not.
Uh-huh.
Because as a kid, I was attacked all the time. And I was like, oh dear, I misread that. And probably doesn't know that what you think about and the thoughts you entertain actually come to pass. So if you
Well,
keep being insecure, yeah, you're gonna prove it to yourself. It's gonna
well,
happen.
bless your heart. This is an interesting thing. Have you children?
No, uh-uh.
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. So, and does Kathleen have children?
She has two kids, and the
Okay.
kids like me. They've got good taste.
Okay.
And yeah, she's kind of betwixt and between jobs and oh, it's a long story, but we were
Well,
using Chat GPT to find her jobs that are suited to her technical expertise, which she developed in China. So we
now
took
which
Chinese
China? Is that
mainland.
mainland? Oh,
Yeah.
how did she get here from mainland China, for heaven's sakes?
Opening for a joke, but I don't know what brought her here originally, but her son is visiting there right now. So apparently traveling back and forth isn't hard. I don't know how she got a green card or whatever you get. I haven't checked that out.
Okay, well, what, can she stay here? Is she gonna be able to be a citizen or a,
Oh yeah, she's been here for like 16 years,
okay.
but
Wow, well, you lead an exciting life, my friend. This is good to
oh
know. I
yes.
want to keep up with that.
Oh my, thank you so much. That's sweet. Ah, I have such richness in my life, and I appreciate you and all the great people at PPI and the good friends I have and work associates.
Uh-huh.
But having a lot of, I'm breaking out of my shell and expanding my outreach. So we have, oh, so much going on. I got an introduction to Sounds True, the publishers who handle, like, I guess, Deepak Chopra and
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle and stuff like that. So one of their authors gave me a warm recommendation this week. And I'm thinking the world needs to know about the work of PPI and collaborative practice and um, keep reduce uh, the occurrences of trauma that happen in families because they're not prepared for transition to the next generation.
The
Uh,
meteor.
yeah, yep. The meteor, boom, the black hole too.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And well, what one of the things that's in all of that, I think, and sounds true and around, is the connection between Lynn Twist and what Warnick is up to. And I've not been able easily to make that happen. I mentioned it to Lynn a year or so ago, and in a very brief phone call, and she had
Mm.
a little bit of interest. Oh, I mean, she had interest. I've talked to John about it, and he knows who Lynn is, and he just got so much going on, he hasn't been able to make that. I mean, it's just anyway. At the right time, something's going to happen, and just when you start mentioning those names, um, Lynn and Janice were on the board of the Fetzer Institute together for 15 years or so. So I know of Lynn's work, and I've had her here in Austin once to address our estate planning council. I mean, many years, maybe 15 years ago. And so there's something's going to come together, but it's just one of those things that's going to happen over time
Yeah.
at the right time. And I just thought I'd mention to you that that's one of the holdouts in the synchronicity
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
domain that I'm waiting on. Okay, so anyway, so you're going to talk to Sounds True, and there are lots of people there that are just marvelous.
Oh, well, this is really a great pleasure because I want to see people make use of these incredible power tools. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
as you know. So let me show you my screen and we can put this
All right.
together.
I think I can turn this on, and I think I see what you're showing me on actually a separate screen.
Cool. Let's see what happens here. I'm looking for not the desktop. I just want to give you the window here. A quick way to find the window. Google Chrome, Google Docs. Maybe that's it. No, I'm sure that's not it. Oh, here we go. I think this is going to do it. I'm going to show you the.
Okay, I've got a full screen of that of your calendar. Now I've got awesome PPI presentation. Okay.
So I started to build this agenda,
Okay.
and I also started to build out a matrix of the different kinds of tools so that we could give them some of the areas and some of the approaches you might use and why it's useful. So I created this matrix that we can share with them and or send in a PDF or something like that, but it'll be in the recording. So be able to stop, pause the video when they're looking at the recording. And it's almost complete where I'm showing who these different tools are useful for. Make that a little bit better. And then, in what domain of our business lives. So in research, interacting with documents and being able to talk to them like you've got a librarian there, anything from articles to books. You can ask these tools to be your mentor or to teach you something. I haven't listed out examples yet. Marketing, of course, lots of uses. You can have it review your website and make suggestions. You can find people to network with, like journalists that write about your topic, or publications that carry your topic, or podcasts that talk about your topic, and I'll show examples. You can generate first draft of articles with citations. How to do any damn thing on the computer, like I said, from soup to nuts. Say, how do I get the data from this program to that program, or how do I create a logo online or something, or how do I use Google? How in the hell do I get into Google, and why does it giving me fits here? It can help you get started and do a lot in terms of helping you get your presentations together, your graphics and images, including logos and whatnot. And then the really advanced stuff that we haven't done yet is have your own client service chatbot for your business, and then automating processes. So and then I can have a link from each of these things to an example like this one, where I asked it to create a logo for a family office that serves doctors, and I'll show how it works so they get a sense of that. And we can then, if we have time, or I can trim down what I'm doing, give them 15 minutes at the end to ask questions and do demonstrations of how we would tackle those questions. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I've done the presentations before, so I've got an audio transcription of one that I did with an author that you and I could use as a model if we want. It's going to give me a summary as soon as it digests this, but it has all of our conversation and there's screenshots. So this is back to the agenda, and let's just build this out together, and then we've got our call organized, I think.
Okay, so
I'm recording this call too, so I can share it.
Well, it's fine. Okay, so how much interaction are you thinking is appropriate? Group breakouts or a conversation among the people who are participating.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I mean, you could talk about this for 2 hours,
Yeah.
and all of the examples. The idea that occurred to me was that you do 15, 20, 30-minute block, and then have an opportunity to reflect on what difference does that make to you and your business? How do you see, is this helpful, or, will you still have a job? And, the sort of questions that seem to me then, based on the relevance of it, then you get more interested in all of the wonderful things that we'll do. I
Mhm.
think most of us have seen somebody have it do a trick on a Zoom call, on a webinar or something,
Hmm.
uh, and one Alex Clendenin, uh, when I asked him what he knew about Otter, and that's one of the ones whose eyes kind of, he then came back and said, "Oh, we've got a program now that reviews legal documents,
Mhm.
tells us who is the trustee, who is the beneficiary, what are the distribution terms, what kind of investments can it hold."
Wow.
In other words, it reviews the documents and then answers questions about what the provisions are and assigns a degree of certainty to the answers it's providing. So,
Wow.
you
Cool.
uh, and that's in his office now. Okay, so they're not reading documents anymore.
We,
Uh,
we could set up Zoom to have a quick survey of hands, basic or the beginners, the people who've maybe put their toe in the water, basic, and then the intermediates, and then the people who are really fluent and have those tools. And
I don't think he hadn't really taken in that that's AI. It's just a program.
oh, aha,
So, uh,
maybe
somebody else in the firm discovered it and brought it in, and he's found it very useful, and they don't have to read documents anymore. So,
exactly.
uh, and uh, put just the other thoughts, put in your column for attorneys, put CPAs too. Okay,
Okay.
I think anything that's true for what attorneys can do is probably true for what CPAs can do as well. Uh,
Well, I'll put the this
okay, yeah, or maybe a separate, uh, yeah, yeah, okay,
yeah.
wow. Okay, uh, we have people in each of those categories, and I think that's pretty much it.
Even trustees, and there's
Yeah, okay, put a
philanthropy.
trustee, yeah, 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 because we do have two people who are trustees. I forgot about that.
Let's see. I'll do that. I'll do this. Trustees and even philanthropy. That would really be
Oh,
good.
okay, yeah, 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 okay.
So if I did a little survey at the beginning, right after we say welcome and here's our agenda, and did a little survey of beginner, intermediate, advanced, the advanced folks, if they want to share a tool that's specific to their industry, like that legal tool, it might be good to give them a chance to put that into the chat.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, the chat window or something.
yeah, 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 if you have, yeah. And we might even invite people to, in advance of the meeting that wanted to make known a specific
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
aspect to do so. Because if we can make this so that it's something you get benefit from doing for other purposes, it's worth spending a little time on. I don't want to see, a lot of time, but, I'm just being creative with you about it, but we've got a 90-minute program, probably, 80 minutes of time. And my experience is that the benefit, real things people are taking away from it is the what happens in the little breakouts. Okay,
Yeah. So
they're answering email or doing the things we do while somebody's on the screen talking to them.
Ah,
What we've kind of gotten behind a little bit on that, and that's why the 90 minutes is important. Okay.
uh-huh.
Once you've crossed the hour, you sort of shifted a mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and people are willing to share personally. And if we give them an opportunity, I don't mean you have to be there an hour before you share, but I've noticed that we begin seeing things sometimes happening or being shared after in that last part as
Uh-huh.
the time goes on. So I think if we could get maybe 20 minutes and 10 minutes and 20 minutes and 10 minutes or 15 minutes and that you'd be really making an impact with some people who can use this information.
Absolutely. So I'll have them do the survey without pausing. I'll just say, go in and put
Okay.
yourself into a category, and then and give them the option at that point if they want to share specific tools, they can put that in the chat.
Okay.
Recommended tools. So that wouldn't take up any of our allotted time.
Yep.
So the greetings and the agenda, 5 minutes. As far as the value for me, I think just getting in front of people and making myself memorable like this is worth a lot.
Okay.
And it's going to make all of PPI more productive and build up the excitement for them. I was on the phone with Julie last week, and I left her more excited than she started.
Oh yeah. What did you get on in their agenda for there's a program one in February or they do the one in person and then they do a web based one in I think February.
I hadn't even thought about February, but she did ask me to submit a proposal for a pre-conference workshop for Ron.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the February one, the sooner people will get started, the farther they're going to go for sure. So we could do, yeah, I think exposure is good. And we're revamping our website for family nature retreats this week, going to the new version of WordPress and putting up all of these activities and events that are happening for us, presentations, and we've got some new articles.
What's the name of the website?
It's called Family Nature Retreats.
Okay.
Man, if we could think of a way to use AI to bring our little study groups together, either, separately and or tap into the knowledge of the other ones. If there were just, well, nobody wants them recorded. So forget the transcripts and the searching those. But we can think of some way to do that. That would be fun. And maybe I'll think of other things to request or to ask for.
Now it's okay. So we'll record this session, so this you've got all of the Zoom or all of the Otter bells and whistles for anybody that's interested in it. And we'll just say that, going in that this is about AI. And so we're going to use this session as a demonstration of the full potential and it'll be available. And
yeah, I should charge for my consulting time.
yeah, well, that's what I mean, this is a rare exposure from somebody who really knows a lot about it.
I thought about doing a little booklet or something like that and throwing it up on Amazon just for fun. And because I think it'd be great if people felt more empowered and they had better information and they knew, you know, unfortunately the bad guys are doing it too, but can't help that. So might as well carry on with what we can do. So I got 5 minutes of just here we are. This is the agenda. It's being recorded. And we've got the chat window open. Recorded. I'll forget these things if I don't write them down, probably. Chat. Open. Yeah, I'm just pleased to be an active member in the community and offer things from my strengths. Um,
Okay, then we'll tell you what we know about Otter and AI and chat. Is it chat box? Chat what? Chat
it's called
box?
Chat GPT. It's just one of
Chat GPT.
the chat bot is the generic term. I just had a crazy idea. I don't know how to exactly say this, but I did talk to Julie about taking all those past 10 years of weekly thought leader calls and putting them into a big knowledge base that you could interact with using AI, just ask questions and find the information. She said, we've tried, it's never been easy enough to do. But I could have some ideas for PPI. I'll probably wind up on some damn committee if I keep this up. Gosh darn it. But we could also collaborate on writing a book together, you know, like super easy. Have the document in one place, have the ability to create content more quickly. Anyway, let's see. So thought leader calls. Just start. Maybe I just need to start the siphon, and it'll carry on its own energy after that. So it could be that. Could be mutual. Oh, mutual collaborations, partnerships, projects.
Collaboration.
Cool. Maybe I should ask ChatGPT what we could use it for.
Yeah.
And that's not even a joke. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. So we have the survey, and then I just give them this basic access. I'm going to get, you know, just narrow it down to one chat bot, show you ChatGPT. It's free for some of the functionality, and you pay $20 a month to get all of the functionality, which is growing by leaps and bounds. It's incredible what you're able to do with it. And show them how to interact with it, just to be able to put in a question and get an answer. And then tell them this is limited largely by your mindset and not being used to having a tool like this. So you can go and basically ask it anything. If you want to learn how to create a logo, you say, how do I create a logo? If you want to write an article about something that's kind of arcane and have citations, just ask it, how do I do that? Or just ask it for the result. I think they're good to go after we give them basic access. That's why I said after which you are set. Maybe that's a time to have a breakout, the first little breakout, to just go and try something.
Yeah.
Well, they'd have to actually log in, wouldn't they? They have to get access to it. Basic is free, but you still might have to register, and that's kind of a hassle.
Well, so you're giving demonstrations during basic access, and people can see on the screen what you're doing with it. Okay.
Yeah.
And that would you know,
That would
be a fault
suffice.
find. And now maybe you got a breakout of what ideas does this give you for your, just from this, do you see anything here that's useful in your practice? If so, what might it be?
That's a good thing. Start getting them engaged in a meaningful way that applies to them right at the start like that. That's really cool. What opportunities do you see or what challenges do you face?
As I said, from what he's just shown you, what do you see that could be useful or helpful in your business?
Okay. That's nice wording. I like that.
And then people come back and you sort of manage a conversation with them about, what did your group say?
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody else have that idea or what, and then, and you go on to another, information section. And maybe that's just another example of stuff, nobody, thought of, another example of, maybe I would think you could do something like have it read a trust document, pretty quick. That would be something that it could actually do functionally while people were watching. And maybe, tell you who the trustees are, what the distribution provisions are, sort of do that sort of thing that Alex was saying they're doing.
Would you, we could identify a document ahead of time, or you could
Yeah,
supply
just
one and I could let you, I don't know, moderate that discussion or something, just to have a change of voice, and then we can demonstrate whatever we want on the fly. But getting back to the breakout, I think having one, they look at what would be helpful in their business. They put it in the chat because we'd have too many ideas, take too long to go through. Then mutually agree on one of those ideas and see if I can give it a head start or break the ice on it. And that's what I meant by answering it.
Mhm.
And then later on down here, when we start to get into, well, that's not really the characteristics. These are use cases. Okay, this is a use case, and it's perfect because I do want to show that you can summarize documents or make inquiries. This is certainly going to upend discovery, where there's so much to go through, and you pay these people to go through, try to pull out what's relevant. I'm like, wow, expensive. So put your legal document, and if you give me a trust document, then we could
Okay.
think of some good examples there. So this would be, but you can also, I will also go on to say that you can, discovery is one of them. You can summarize a book. You can summarize a YouTube video. You can summarize, any article you have. And you can translate too. We use that with Kathleen. She had some kind of certificate written in Chinese for her having passed some kind of certification on a scientific instrument. We couldn't read a Chinese certificate, but ChatGPT looked at it and said, oh, this is what this is. Boom. And then we looked for companies that need that kind of service. So
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
How about a financial analysis?
Oh gosh, yes.
Don't you want to do that and fill out an income tax return and
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. Let's see. I don't want to get too
you have, a number of CFPs and the big PPI group and a large percentage of the people in our little group are CFPs and
yeah.
that's what they do.
So we'd have you mentioned, I think, statement analysis. You can
Well,
take,
suppose I here's somebody's assets. What
uh,
is the financial plan?
my toes, you stepped on them. um, Actually, Nancy Ross brought that up. She said, if you're retiring, this could help you decide where to live and stuff. Like, yeah. So,
But just in terms of the person who's seeing clients and offering the services of a certified financial planner.
you can go to ChatGPT and say, how could a financial planner use AI and drill down, to some area that you want, or CPAs. I can't wait for the tax analysis stuff. And oh my gosh, you could put in the concerns of a family and have it do different proposals as far as splitting things up. It can generate flowcharts and stuff too.
Mhm.
Oh my God. And it can digest large amounts of data. Anyway,
Well, so I think, just to hit each of these professions is, we got the, document analysis is interesting for lawyers and, you know, trustees, people that write and deal with these documents. Uh, Financial analysis or, what answering the questions that people have about what should I do to be able to retire at age, 65, 70 or whatever they want to retire. What does my rate of return need to be? I've been sat through so many of these presentations over the years where people spend a lot of time analyzing the rates of return you've got to have and risk level and
yeah, you can do lots of computations. I'm thinking about a client who recently asked us about, then they referred to it as a QLAC. And Austin and I are scratching our heads going, we have to look that up. What is a QLAC? Qualified lifetime annuity contract. So it's one of those that doesn't pay out to you're 85, but goes on forever. It's insurance against living too long. I think it's a pretty good.
An annuity is just the opposite bet of a life insurance policy. Same. Life insurance policies betting you will die too soon. The annuity is betting you'll live too long.
Well, these start later, so it's only insuring the tail of the distribution, which makes it cheaper to fund because fewer people will be alive. But those that are alive now have coverage in case that happens, and it's cheaper to buy than a regular annuity because it doesn't pay out till later, and it may not pay out. Anyway, so I thought those things were barely available, and I just did a little chatbot search on it. Found out they're quite common. and offered in retirement plans. And there's a $200,000 limit. I mean, even me as a practitioner, I don't know everything that's out there and what the different providers are and all of that. And I used it for a client who was looking for a savings and loan. Oh, she had the question of, wasn't a savings loan, it was a credit union. She said, my credit union told me that I can put more than $250,000 into my trust account with them, and it's still insured because I have 5 beneficiaries. I went, what? I thought it was based on one owner, but I used Chat GPT to just cut through the haze and find it. I guess Google could have worked pretty well for that.
Yeah, Google will give you that one.
But it's really interesting that for research, it's so powerful. So I've got statement analysis, financial planning, and I will research what other kinds of applications are out there, which will be fun, and I'll learn from that, and it'll help me with my business. So, oops, I didn't want to color that. I want to color the fill. Okay. All right, so we've got a lot of content, and I can have a link directly from here, like actually, I've got a link here. If I give you permission to get into this document, if you ever want to, and that's a link over to here. But over here, I can have selected examples already set up to lead us to the demos I've already put in, let's say. So while I'm talking, I can just bring up a few really quickly. We don't have to think about how to phrase it. It's already entered the question and the response. See, all I did say, please generate a name and a logo for family office that serves physicians. And, that's what it came back with. So, and then you can modify those further. But for each type of thing, we want to just show a quick example of, and maybe then we set them free again and say, okay, now that you've seen some of the specific use cases, be so cool.
At some point, we're going to be worried. We want to get worried about what this means for what you have to offer people. What does this do to the do-it-yourself mentality? Why do they need you?
I hear your words, and I haven't placed them in the context yet. Like, could you restate that for a dummy?
Well, look at all the wonderful things it will do for you.
Yes.
Do you have to have a CFP to have access to this information? Do you have to be an attorney to all of a sudden be able to answer all of these questions? No.
Yeah.
Do you need an attorney anymore? Do you need a CFP anymore? Do you need a CPA anymore?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing as, will you have a job?
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about what is it that people pay us to do? And we have this meeting once a month focusing on the qualitative aspects of the service that we provide. It looks to me like the quantitative aspect of it is perhaps a thing of the past.
I think so too. And I think we're in such a great position because we're focusing on that chatbots can't do yet. I have to say ChatGPT behaves as though it's emotionally intelligent. It does a heck of a job there, surprisingly. Quantitative. So the first thing I would say is first thing I would say is AI is not going to take your job. The person who understands AI is going to take your job. And that we really need still somebody guiding these powerful tools. Like if you're in India and you're working with your elephant to I don't know what, help people remove trees from their properties and stuff. The elephant's very powerful, but it still needs somebody guiding it and knowing when it's running off the rails, which AI can do because it's listening to a lot of different sources. And it's really completely dumb. It really doesn't understand, but it's so clever. The constructs are so clever. It's just really figuring out what the next word would be across all the sources on the internet based on what you've typed. Well, it just builds the whole thing one word at a time. It's crazy. So you need a professional. Number one, we can focus on the qualitative. I'll make sure that we mention that. And what I've done to help me in this area is I've generated an AI policy statement for a number of reasons. Number one, the regulators are going to want to know, are we providing real services or are we just sort of a malpractice at some level of using chatbots instead? So I want the regulators to know how I'm using it. And I suspect they'll want to know that within the next year for sure. So I've got it ready. Number two, clients may wonder, is this guy really doing any work? Can I do it myself? So I can include in my policy statement, we recognize the dangers of AI if not properly used. And we found that it's good in certain areas and not so good in others. Good at generating ideas and finding citations and resources and whatnot, but it's not to the point of wisdom yet. And then we can look at it not from the standpoint of what is going to be taken away, but what can we do now that we could never do before?
Okay. Well, that's the point. So that's a question. What can we do now that we couldn't do before?
Yeah, and I might even come up with a few ideas because I'm using it a lot. Certainly, it increases efficiency. That's huge. But that allows me to focus on client contacts more. But I got to find something a lot more enticing.
Well, you remember what I said? Is this really the same? That's what we've said about the past technology. It's more efficient. It allows us to use our time better. It doesn't save any time. We're spending the same amount of time on a financial plan now we did in 1980, the same amount of time on an estate plan now that we spent in 1980. It's just that everything's ground up into finer pieces. Okay, the sand is ground up, and so far technology has really not saved time. It's just created greater detail that we can go into. Okay,
Yes.
or options. People didn't have dynastic trusts until the 2000s when computerized document creation became ubiquitous. Is this AI that kind of a step forward, or is it really a different level of the game? I'm thinking it's a different level of the game,
Mm.
and it will replace. It's not going to help lawyers, it's going to replace them in
And
terms of
clients.
document creation.
Yeah,
That's what they're selling now. Okay. And I think financial advisors are, you're looking at much the same thing. I mean, gee, it's nice that you're there to oversee and be sure AI is given the right answers, but there's no reason the people you're serving can't put the same information into the same AI machine and get the same answer you would get.
that's right. I taught one of my clients how to use AI, within an hour chat because of value add to clients too. Actually, that's one of the ways we can add value to clients is to help
Okay,
them
yeah,
understand this.
help them use AI. Yeah,
But what happened
that's
was that he came back to me with a question. He wondered if he could give his Roth IRA to his kids. And I said, not while you're alive. But whatever I wrote to him, he didn't really understand it. And he came back with, well, AI says, I went, damn it. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day and you
yeah.
teach him how to fish and he'll take your job away. But I went back to him and I used AI to write it in sixth grade language so that he would understand some of the concerns. So it's still,
Well, I may be wrong. Okay, I'm just saying what's occurring to me.
oh shit, yeah, it's
Maybe
happening.
this is a tool in the hands of lawyers that will be make them more able to create better documents. But
You know what might work? Something along these lines. I don't have a complete picture, but a law firm could have an AI level service that would either be free or really low cost and appeal to those people who think lawyers are too expensive and have disclaimers or whatever. Like AI will provide its own disclaimers. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. Uh, have some level of that for people who wouldn't use their services or don't want to pay. And that might draw people in and get them engaged to the point where they have a question that a chatbot could even be limited to certain kinds of questions. And you graduate into the human services.
the law firm that I'm consulting with has that option now. You can go to LegalZoom and
Oh,
will review your LegalZoom documents for $500 or some very basic amount. And if you're happy with them, uh, you know, uh, and it's sort of a lost leader. It's very clever because at the level that these things are operating now, it's not too hard to get on the other side of them. At the level that it looks to me like AI is going to be doing it, there's not going to be an opportunity. Well, have you thought of, uh, you know, what if you move to Switzerland between now and the time he died? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Okay. Oh, well, that's maybe something I can add to the mix, but then he can go back to AI and get his will adjusted, assuming he's going to move to Switzerland or may move to Switzerland at some point in time. Anyway, I obviously am interested in this, but don't know enough about it to. But I think at some point we want to have a discussion about what are the threats, or have what are the threats to your livelihood? Are there threats to your livelihood from this, or is this all opportunity?
Why don't we run through some of the use cases with them after we've given them the basic orientation? Go directly to use cases because they've started to think about how it would be helpful in your business. And actually, I could put mostly a mindset. That's kind of a subtopic. I'm excited about what I just thought about the organization here. Oh yeah. um, so would it be helpful? Put it in the chat. We'll explore one, and then we can go through, say, use cases for each profession or something like that, one use case for each. And then we go into this, will you have a job? So first of all, we got them thinking about how can it help you? We talk about ways, it can help you or anybody. And then we say, what's the threat? Because people are all, well, I've heard about AI, it's going to destroy civilization. That's all I know about it. It's like, okay, the press is led with the disaster scenario. Great. And people stop there and they go, I know enough. But here we have them explore, will you have a job, and then come back and discuss it. Or we could, again, prime the pump with these questions you and I have raised, because this is already generating quite a lively discussion between the two of us.
Mhm.
And we could talk about that would lead to how do we make the most of it? Well, you might lose some clients, but what if you used it to market more effectively? What if you had a podcast already, but now when you do it, you can do it live in 150 languages? I mean, I guess lawyers not so great, but there's a lot of things in common in other countries.
Mhm.
But thinking about how can we use it
Wow.
to help us?
Mhm.
Yeah, other people are going to have race cars too, and they can go out and buy one if they have the time and the expertise and the inclination. But if we uh, learn how to use that race car effectively and we start early, at least we could stay slightly ahead. But
And enter the right races.
there you go. I, I love the way you think. It's so creative and so nuanced and kind.
Well, Peter, I think, let's say that we'll talk again between now and then. I don't know, this, you can't we can't get into a black hole. There's no answer to a lot of this. Uh, I, my processes are working a little bit. You certainly are, and you're going to talk to a lot of other people. I don't talk to that many people, but why don't we say we'll meet again for an hour next week, or see what has come together.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And I would like to wrap up the call at the end for, with ideas for PPI as well,
yeah,
and then give them access to these use cases and then at least one tool for each and a link to the tool.
yeah.
They could just come in here and use this document. So they're going to get a lot for their money. Wait, they're not paying anything. Yeah, they're going to get a whole lot for their money.
Well, we get a lot out of this. There are 8 or 10 of us is really all at any one time, or going to 3 or 4 meetings in a row. But it's amazing. Life is no longer about majorities. It's about creative and powerful little pods, as far as I am concerned. Two or
Nice.
three being gathered together are a huge power source, it seems to me. And the majority is a very or wide acceptance is not as important to me anymore as focusing on uniquely creative people and ideas and opportunities.
And here's another idea and opportunity is somewhere, well, after we do it, having that Zoom recording, then sharing it with all of PPI. Maybe that could be the weekly call the week after we do it with Austin, because it gets out of date so fast. I mean, it's not bad. It just doesn't.
When you say share it with PPI, what do you mean?
Well, I'm thinking send the link out to the AI training that we just did with the Austin collaboratory to everybody in PPI.
Okay, make it available to the Denver PPI universe. Yeah.
And if they wanted to, maybe we could be the guests, you and I, on the thought leader call shortly after we actually do this later in the month. They probably have them booked up for a while, but everything we can do to just share it with the larger community, because if we've gone to this,
let's see what we get going here. Okay. And then be informed by how we got here and what happened, and then do the next right thing.
Sounds good. One step at a time. Clarity comes.
And do one thing under ideas for PPI. You've got mutual collaboration. Okay, that's it's
redundancy.
It's just redundancy. It's just collaboration. Okay. Okay, and it's with a capital C.
Got that.
I know. As distinguished from subtle manipulation.
Oh, you are. That's a subtle thought right there.
Well, think about that for a while, okay? You and I are in a capital C collaboration, okay? And it can happen with 3 or 4 people, okay? It's hard to stretch it much beyond that.
Yeah, true.
And what most people call collaboration is actually, sharing and good trying to put out good vibes, really to achieve a predetermined result.
Yeah, it's an attempt at persuasion, or it's like listening with an objective.
Yeah, it's controlling. It's a strategy to control, and you're not going to get far with intelligent people, controlling intelligent people, by trying to control them. You have to have a more efficient means. And that means can be collaboration with a small c. And almost everything we do in life has a banal application and a higher purpose.
Wow.
And
okay.
It's just the fact that we're collaborating doesn't mean much until we cross a threshold to where I am genuinely sharing myself with you without regard to the outcome. I may wish an outcome, but I'm willing to put enough on the line that if I'm wrong about you, I could lose.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And that creates a level of energy that creates possibilities that neither of us thought of.
Yeah, I have thoughts that agree with and augment that comment of yours, but that's for another time. But I do have a tongue-in-cheek motto that one of my colleagues shared with me years ago. He's a financial planner, and he was talking about sales, I guess. He said, if you can fake sincerity, you've got it made.
But you can't do that with everybody.
Right. No, and you wouldn't, and he wasn't serious. That was completely a
Well,
joke.
no, that's a strategy, okay, and it works as long as it has limitations, and you just have to sort of decide where you want to be.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
What
I,
works in the short term, long term. Let's see, we're on the what, the 16th?
yep.
When would you like to meet again?
Well, why don't we try and what does a week from today look like? What
That'll
is
be
that?
the
That's the
7th.
7th? Okay. I'm around on November the 7th.
Actually, then,
That's when we're having our Austin PPI meeting that evening at the UT Club, in person. If you happen to be here, you'll be welcome.
well, I don't know if they'll have the jet out of the shop by then, but if it's available, I'll pop down.
Yeah, well, let us know.
Probably not, but here
Anyway, so I'm available that afternoon if you want to put that down at 2:30.
I've got a couple of clients that day, so I'm thinking, would Thursday work for you?
Okay, the 9th?
That's
Yeah,
completely wide open for me.
okay.
Um,
Well, I can work that in indeed. What would work for you?
we're going to be on we're going to be on standard time again by then. It doesn't matter, the calendar will sort it out, but um, we could do the same thing around 12:30 my time,
Okay,
and it'll still be 2:30 your time.
okay,
It'll just be shifted.
okay,
Uh, this is a blast, David. I love talking to you.
okay. I'll put it down and send a Zoom thing, and we'll have it there. I
Uh,
could send a Zoom thing too, but it's just, and I maybe am gonna have to start doing that, but you know how and do it.
I'll just do it right now.
You're an expert. Okay. Thank you, my friend. And I'll look forward to seeing you and, email me or call me in the meanwhile if something comes up you need help with.
No, thank you.
Okay. More later.
Okay, more
Bye-bye.
power to us. Thank you.
Bye-bye.